GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome, everybody, to our weekly episode where we take a look over at the IG to see how the 2A is doing over there. So we've got a poll going for people that show up live on the YouTube, watching this live, and you can put in your vote for, let's say that Instagram and YouTube meet up on the street and they get into a fight. Who's going to win? YouTube's going to beat up Instagram is going to beat up YouTube, or there's a tie and they both lose. That's the options, or you can just default out of there. So you've got a poll. If you're watching live, welcome. We've got Kingpin joining us live. MC is out there. If anybody else is out there, we don't know because you don't say whatever it is, so how do we know? So we're going to head over to Instagram, and looking at the screen here, we're going to zoom in on it. We'll talk about what we're looking at here in a bit, but we've saved things that we find that are interesting on Instagrams, and then on Sundays, we go back and look at those things. And that's what we're looking at on the screen here. I've got it zoomed in on our Instagram. What's it called? Reel? No, it's called Instagram. I forget what it's called. What is it called? I have to go look. It's not going to tell me. Anyway, saved posts, I think. So we're going to scroll back here till I can remember one that I've already talked about. And I am not sure where we might have ended. Did we do the Eddie Eagle one? Let's click on this Send It one. No, that's only 4 days ago. Looks like we got a bunch of them this week. So we'll keep going back. Keep going back. Man, I kind of remember this one. September 3rd, I think we did finally get back. About a week. All right, so this is about a week ago from Cape Gunworks, throwing off their food truck that was out at a mall. So getting the word out, Second Amendment and stuff away from the gun shop. So Jason Jones is Triggers and, no, what's it called? Dang, I can't think of his project. I need to zoom out of this. Well, that's not going to tell me. Anyway, this guy he's the guy who was in charge of the Texas Rangers, tripwires and triggers. That's what it's called. So he used to run the Texas Rangers, right? State law enforcement for Texas for many years. And part of his task there was international crime for Texas. So he became intimately familiar with cartels and cartel stuff. Eventually, he got frustrated, it sounds like, from not being able to accomplish his goal to end this kind of garbage, mainly because our crime enforcement, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, criminal enforcement or criminal investigations are old, very, very old. Definitely before the internet and before modern crime. Some heinous, horrible shit happens in 2022 that may or may not have happened back in the day, but they certainly weren't looking for it. So this guy does a pretty good job of focusing on what the cartels are doing and their influence here in the United States and the consequences of inaction from both the Mexican government and the United States government. We've got a lot of people talking about being distracted. There's important things that they're being distracted or distracting us from. So this is yet another post. I think we talked about it last week. This is 1 million fentanyls. 1.57 million fentanyl pills in that pile. That's coming from China. If you don't think we're at war, then you're not paying attention. So the real CTT is Mike Pannone. He's here in Tucson, but he's an instructor who has an interesting insight on offering training, and I've been following his stuff for a while. In this post from a week ago or whatever, I think we talked about this last week, he keeps talking, or he talks about how he keeps hearing the question, how can you replicate stress in a gunfight? You can't, but you can prepare for the skills needed for it, and that leads to confidence in your actions. From his experience, any event begins, the stress you feel is much self-induced as a reflection of the dedicated preparation and definable abilities. So that gives you an idea of how Mike thinks about situations and how to address preparation for the unknown. His college lacrosse coach used to say the game is just to see who did the work. The real win is earned in practice. I think I remember talking about this, but everybody talks about training as if it's some sort of voodoo fancy maneuvers or tactical tactics or something. But in reality, training is just doing the same stuff over and over and over. Amateurs practice until they can do it right. Professionals practice until they don't do it wrong. So it's just doing the same old stuff over and over. It's just that when you're with people who understand there's no magic and it's just practice, the basics, they get enthusiastic about it and they appreciate the wins and the losses. And there's a lot of people that can't deal with that. They got to show up just to get the wins. And there's a lot of people that see that element, I suspect, and have a problem with it. And then, of course, marginalize all instruction. So next up is OG Pumpkin. Pretty sure I did talk about this. That's weird. It went to 3rd instead of 4th. So it's going all over the place. But OG Pumpkin dropped another couple of podcasts. Very good ones if you're a small business owner and you're interested in how to use YouTube and the internet. Instagram specifically, I guess, and the internet. Really good stuff. Also, just more inspirational stuff about the kind of work they're doing and the goals that they have as an organization with OG Pumpkin. I like to post a girl in a gun club when they do these little girly things to each other, these little sayings to keep themselves going. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You know who does that also? This guy. He posts things to keep people going. Do you think, do people use the word stress in place of fear? I don't hear people talk about overcoming fear. I don't think in reality, when you get into a situation that involves acting immediately, fear doesn't come into it. There's flight or fight. So you're going to run away, or if you're standing there, fear is overcome already. So I hear what you're saying, but no, it's more about stress. It's more about most people that fire a firearm are more concerned about where their bullet's going to go and like there's whatever it is they've been told last, and they're just not comfortable with it. If you ask somebody who's a lumberjack or something about their axe, they're not going to talk about weird stuff. They're just going to consider their axe a part of their arm. So people that shoot enough don't have fear as much as familiarity with shooting in different positions and different levels of attention. So no, I think it's really just stress. A lot of people, when they think about things that they've never done before, fear comes into it. But in reality, look at history. Everybody who's put into a situation that demands immediate results either lived through it and did, or died, or ran away, I guess, right? So I guess there are people that run away, and you can run away. There's no law against running away. In fact, there's some laws that make you run away. But I just don't think fear is a thing. At least I've never encountered a class that dealt with fear other than to acknowledge that it's an element in theoretics. I don't think there's too many people maybe people that have never dealt with a situation before would think that fear comes into play, or, would be adamant about it. Like, oh no, you got to worry about it, because everything happens too fast in reality. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I've never heard anybody ever really bring that up, other than in initial classes. Definitely in initial classes, people that are first coming up with it in conversations, it comes up all the time. So here's one from Connecticut Citizens Defense League. For some reason, they go CCDL_carry on. Don't ask me. Come on. Our state level organizations are often run by volunteers and run by amateurs that aren't marketing people. And when they are, they're often tethered to some kind of committee. So can't complain too much about national or state level organizations. I will complain about national level organizations that have individuals running things, calling shots, and don't have boards that fumble them, right? A lot of these organizations are supposed to be so nimble and care so much. Anyway, so CCDL/carry-on. It's that time of year again. Don't forget to wear your blaze and show your support for the rights. Get your CCDL Hunters Pack and receive a Blaze Orange CCDL shirt and a camo decal for one price. Well, first off, I don't believe that any of the state level organizations should be doing any kind of sales or any kind of combo packs to save anybody money. You're supporting an organization because you value what the organization offers. So I don't think they should do that. But they can do what they want. If you're going to buy it, I'd say throw $20 extra at them anyway. But I like the idea of an orange shirt for sure. It looks like a decent one, and it's got the the iron-on with CC logo, but it's all right. It's got a Beretta on it. But you get a decal, which is fine, and then you get that cool orange shirt. So I'm a big fan of the orange shirt. I have no idea how much they cost though. So does anybody know? Let's go find out. I'm guessing you go to ccdl.us. Not a big fan of US's. I have a couple of them. I'd recommend .coms. All right, so now you go to shop. There it is, $20. Come on, man. Come on. So, I mean, if you got issues or whatever, I understand being broke. Give them $20. That's a Gildian or whatever. Those are decent. So, come on. And they got it up to 4XL. Nice. I'm going to drop a link to this. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to recommend you give them $40 just because it's a good state level organization that we know does valid work. Connecticut's often abused, often ignored. They don't speak up enough and nobody cares. It's Connecticut after all. So let's give them some support. And if you want to, give them $40 and then you get a shirt out of it. Let's see. So then we got Arizona 2A rally. Put this one up. I don't know. It's one of these movie memes. I don't know the movie though. Wall Street, maybe? We can't have ordinary citizens be able to have military grade guns. And then this other guy goes, military grade is crap made by the lowest bidder. My guns are much better than military grade. And then the first person's looking at him like, what? I never realized. It's one of those things, right? That a lot of people think that military is the best. Military is just the most rugged and the most applicable to the most uses, and then made by someone who can make it inexpensively compared to the other bidders. It doesn't necessarily mean it's made cheap, because the parameters of the project will determine if the product will be cheap, but it's certainly going to be made by the least expensive bidder. But that doesn't mean that it's the cheapest thing. So I don't agree with the whole like military grade is garbage. Military grade is what it is. Depends on the applicant, that specific item, if it's garbage or not. But if the military needs garbage, they buy garbage. If they need ultimate fine stuff, then they buy ultimate fine stuff. But the idea is that no matter who you're buying it from, you are getting something that's applicable to many jobs. And often surgeon needs a specific tool or something. So assume military grade is a tactic used by the antis to make people think of war. Yeah, and by marketers to make people think, some sort of bulletproof or ultimate dimensions or something are like the most researched situation, which sometimes is, not always. What good news is, in 2022, there's very few things that are not explored in depth by experts or people who are interested in whatever it happens to be. Actually, there's almost nothing that you can't research. So the fact that it's frustrating because there's things to research or to be researched is, in my opinion, overshadowed by the fact that we're able to research and we have things to be able to research. I mean, it's just super cool. So don't get too upset if we have too many options. It's better than not having any options. Let's see. So then the Senate is back this week. Let's welcome them back with a flood of demands to stop the federal assault weapons ban, H.R. 1808. And this came out 5 days ago. So this came out on Tuesday. This is the first post that I found that anybody mentioned 1808. The only way to get a 1994 again is to never let them forget that they suggested infringements, right? when they come up and slap us in the face repeatedly with one of their appendages, and then we are satisfied when they stop, that doesn't stop them from doing it again. When they come up and slap us in the face repeatedly with one of their appendages, the reaction is to different in order to never have that happen again, or to make them wait decades before they have the audacity to try it again. So kudos for gun policy, or FPC, for putting the word out there, but at the same time, I'm also going to be giving them shit because of a bunch of nostril pictures this week again too. But I don't know if anybody else getting the urging people to get out there and just make noise about 1808. They got the audacity to suggest that we're the problem for these things. It's our loss if we don't complain. If we don't complain today, why the fuck are they going to listen to us complain tomorrow? Because we're never going to complain tomorrow. We need to be complaining about stuff when it's hot. You don't complain about stuff 7 weeks after it's not a thing anymore. They brought this stuff in front of the elections in order to distract and to take us off the table. There should be a cost for that. There should be a consequence, and that should be at least tying up all their interns with constant calls. There's the possibility in 2022, when we can arrange all kinds of stupid shit, then how come we can't have phone brigades where there's people constantly calling these people as a consequence of suggesting that law-abiding gun owners and ownership of firearms is somehow responsible for the audacities created by a few individuals with the lead of the media and the encouragement of all the hype that follows. They're exploiting all of that, and instead of taking an opportunity to complain about that in an organized national way, we get one post occasionally from one of the national level organizations and complete silence from every other organization. It's shameful and it's frustrating. In the future, people are going to look back and go, wow, they had the opportunity to get rid of the NFA right there. And they sat around. So here's Gun Owners Radio, who will be live later on today.
Receivers rule. The ATF, without going through the legislature, tried to redefine what a firearm is. And for the first time, a federal court said, nope, we're going to put an injunction on that until we get it all figured out. Because I have a feeling they agree with us that it's completely unconstitutional. Goes way above the ATF's ability to regulate, and instead they're actually forcing, or I should say, making law, which is not their job. So stay tuned for us. I think it's really good news.
All right. So again, there's a lot going on with that. Blurbs from reporters is observation. It's not conversation with strategy makers. It's not conversations with organization heads or the policymakers at organizations. And it's not an effective awareness campaign. We have national level organizations that get tens of millions of dollars, and we can't have a national scoreboard that tells us what's up, that gives us a common awareness of what's on the table, who's playing against us, and what things are running, what projects are running in our favor. We're playing this like a marketing game. And if that's the case, then shame on the industry for who can market the shit out of anything they want for not stepping up the marketing and being as capable with their marketing of Second Amendment as they are with the bullshit optics or grips or whatever bullshit they got. Yeah, you can complain about the NRA all you want, but don't complain about FPC. Don't complain about GOA. Don't complain about the one in Colorado that brings in $16 million and has people fired by the no compromises. Complain about NRA all you want. That's a sucker bet. Cape Gunworks, we advocate responsible gun ownership, and we offer the classes and training you need. So this is a quick video from Cape Gunworks.
One thing that hasn't changed is the commitment to our customers. Come in, meet our friendly staff, take a class, and
pretty cool. You might think, oh, it's just a typical commercial for a gun shop, except there ain't that many commercials for gun shops, and not that many gun shops have won the Employer of the Year for Cape Cod, Massachusetts. That's a pretty cool thing. And to see that a gun shop is included in the list is awesome, because now it makes gun ownership more normal. but it also lets people know that it's a great working condition and it's not some kind of weird place. And I imagine some people are going to go in just to check it out to see what that's all about. Another one from Cape Gunworks showing their sign, and their Top Shot Invitational was this weekend. 95, 94, something like 90 something shooters come in groups of 4, staged throughout the day, use up the whole indoor range, and have a competition to support veterans groups and an individual project for some veterans in Massachusetts. Gun Freedom Radio is posting about the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and specifically the day before AmCon, how A.W.R. Hawkins from Breitbart is going to be speaking there. It says, if you're considering being part of the ever-growing voice of civil rights and individual liberties, you need to attend AmCon, the Alternative Media Workshop in Dallas. You'll learn best practices from people from Second Amendment Foundation and Rebecca Schmoy and Riding Shotgun with Charlie and Yehuda and John Petrolini and I don't know what that one is. Beth from USCCA, Rhonda Mary, I don't know what DCS is, and then Cheryl Todd. All right, so that's going to be in Dallas this Friday before Gun Rights Policy Conference, and there you go. Next is pretty neat. This one is from Pima Air, Air Force or Airplane Museum here in Tucson. So a lot of people know about the Long Easy, which is super cool kit plane that people could buy, and it was in that one James Bond movie when there was like the horse trailer and a little tiny jet comes out of it. So that guy started somewhere, and this is the plane that he started with, a Model 32. I think this is the beginning, the Rutan Model 32 Very Vigan. It's the first home-built, it is the first home-built aircraft by Burt Rutan, inspired by the design of Delta Wing design. And then it says he sold only 600 of these, but only a dozen of them ever flew. And then it led to his widely popular Long Easy designs. And then some guy donated this one with over 1,000 hours of flight time. So back when I was a kid and all my friends were Civil Air Patrol and getting their pilot's licenses, I would go to the airport and hang out because I could fly around for free. I imagine it was kind of risky flying around with a kid who didn't even have a pilot's license yet, but I don't care. So you would see these little planes, and there was all these dudes that would have these little planes and fly them around, and I had no idea, but there's tons of recreational flyers out there, people that build their own airplanes and whatnot. So anyway, just kind of neat. It's out of my price range, not necessarily my interest, but cool to know that we live in a world where people that want to fly around can, and can do it in all kinds of different ways. So then Professor Yamane talked about last week and in other shows how he's been doing this class or seminar or whatever it is, lecture series for guns in this school that he works at. And he had these students that he took some students out to the range to get a familiarization and firing, some experience shooting different kinds of firearms, and posted that he's going to be posting, or he had talked about posting more from that event. And this was one of the first things he posted. It says, students' field trip reflection essays came in last night. I wonder if any of them will comment on the safety brief, which includes this info. So in other words, he's talking about how his students who experienced the event are able to write an essay about it for class credit or whatever, I think. And he talked about if any of those are worth sharing, he'll share those. But he's saying as they come in, he's wondering how many of them are going to comment on the safety briefing. And that's something that I just think is a great idea. First, to just mention, because I've been to a lot of classes and not every class does this. So in case you've never experienced it, it is a thing. But often an instructor who's thinking about being proactive, I guess, thinking about something before it happens, they'll post an emergency procedure. So a lot of classes, they'll talk about it or mention it, And then other classes will go beyond that. So one of the things to do to go beyond that is to have some sort of a safety briefing at the very beginning of get together at a range or at an outdoor event. Even it doesn't have to be a shooting event, just in reality. How many events have you been to where they talked about safety? None, because nobody thinks about it. Gun people think about it all the time. So we often have a special thing at the beginning because what we do is deemed as dangerous or whatever. So, and because mostly so many people who aren't familiar are gonna overreact and be super timid, and in the process fumble and get all weird. So until people are comfortable, and then nobody's got issues once they're comfortable with it. So until people are comfortable, giving them this kind of data can really be comforting for them, right? So you have a briefing, but at the same time, you also want to post something like this when possible. So that in a time of stress, not because of fear, but because of confusion and not being comfortable with dealing with stress or dealing with speed and all the stuff that happens when like an emergency happens, having all this stuff written down is great. And knowing that you have this stuff written down gives people the ability to just deal so they can move on. They don't have to be caught up in the idea that they don't know what to happen in an emergency. So this is a great emergency procedure, and I'm prefacing it all because it's so good. And I just wanted to mention it, that again, this is an example of somebody who's really putting some effort into the thoughts of that first person, that individual who's never been shooting before. Anyway, so it's got this emergency procedure just written on a piece of paper, but clearly, and it goes call 911, and then 9-1-1. So it's easy to remember. They see that. Next, as a quote here, training accident at the name of the range in the name of the town, send EMS. So nobody has to remember nothing. They can just see that and say that. Then there's the address, 1000 whatever road. Then it says 1 student go to the entrance near the road, 1 student go to the gate at the range. And now people can start figuring out, okay, there's a couple of things that need to get done. They can start figuring out, if I'm assigned to do this, I know what I'm supposed to do. If I know what the other person's doing, right? Like everybody knows what's up. It's awesome. And now everybody can be just a little less apprehensive or a little less worried because they've got this concept that somebody thought this out ahead of time and gave them this cheat sheet for an emergency. It's a great idea. I've seen this and I've seen it without this. And there's definitely more ease and comfort at a class with this type of introduction. And I think it also helps set the stage for the awareness for the class. They understand that the instructor understands, and they can get back to paying attention. It's great stuff, a great post. At the bottom of the thing, it says non-emergency medical, and then it has a name for, I don't know, some place that's urgent care, I guess, closer to them. So yeah, awesome post. Really like it. And it's going to get overlooked by 1 million people because it's not super flashy or talks about grip angle or whatever bullshit. So that was from Professor Yamane again. Next up is Gun Freedom Radio, talking about the Gun Rights Policy Conference this time instead of AmCon, and talking about how both Cheryl and Dan have been invited to speak at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. I don't think we're going to see AmCon. It's not going to be broadcast, but the Gun Rights Policy Conference should be. Paul says he's gonna, so maybe we'll be able to see that on October or September 30th and October 1st is the Gun Rights Policy Conference this year. Let's see. So Rick posted this one. Rick Ector from Detroit posted this one. If your gun is telling you to do bad things, your firearm is in fine working order. Your mind, however, is another story. So I thought that was pretty funny. It says a lot by saying a little. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Then we got gun policy. The Senate is back in session. Let them know you never went anywhere. And then just their website, one of their websites, to beat HR 1808. So welcome Senate back with an inbox of emails demanding they shut down talks about the federal assault weapons bans. I love it. And I don't know. What else can I say? If we had a national campaign to do something about this, it would never happen again. I don't know. Do you believe I'm correct on that, or am I wrong? Like if our 100% of our attention was on How dare you? You think they'd ever do it again? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody should just sit here and they'll stop doing it because of our silence. So this, I noticed Girl in a Gun is doing these monogrammed, or whatever you call this, embroidered things, right? So first off, I look at this as somebody who used to own an embroidery robot and go, how would I have done this? I know how to do this. I'm wondering how they did it. So first off, I looked at that part, and then I went, oh, okay, I've seen this Send It before, and I never realized it was a Girl in a Gun's thing. I thought it was just next to Girl in a Gun on a thing before. So it looks like it's their logo, and it's on a Right in the Rain notebook cover. So it's kind of cool. And if you don't do paperwork, if you don't have pencil and paper or some kind of writing implement and paper along while you shoot, you think everybody else is wrong for having pencil and paper when they're shooting? Or you think you got it figured out and every sniper and marksman and long distance shooter is crazy? So yeah, if you're interested in carrying around a bunch of that stuff, you could do it with some boring design, or you could do it with something that promotes Girl in a Gun, which is a pretty awesome organization. Might look into it. Rapid Fire Radio, remember this Cape Gunworks place I keep talking about? They posted again about their invitational. Sure, this is a little extra overkill this week, but what I'm also trying to do is engage the algorithms that Al Gore invented to lay down over the internet to tell the internet what to do. The internet isn't magic. It's just a bunch of fucking robots that do what they're told. So the way you tell a robot what to do is by doing it. So the only way you can do that is by doing it. So that's why some of these things are in here. Let's see. There's a lot of gun shops I could promote. I try to promote the ones that I see doing awesome work out there. Let's see. Then this one's again from Gun Policy or FPC. And it is some son of a bitch giving some other asshole some kind of booze, probably. It says, they are all friends. You are the opposition. Keep up the pressure. I like the message. I don't like looking at people's nostrils, or I don't know who any of these people are half the time. But it must be working because they keep posting them. Either way, we don't get much else suggesting we apply pressure on the Senate for even suggesting an assault weapons ban. I'm almost positive ignoring the Senate is not going to cause them to never touch an assault weapons ban again. However, another, direction might cause them to never consider an assault weapons ban again. Well, here's the NRA, but hates the NRA because it's cool and trendy and hip to hate the NRA right now. The media doesn't want you to see this. Eddie the Eagle has taught 32 million children how to stay safe if they find a gun. And it's got some little kids playing with Eddie the Eagle dolls, I guess. So first off, how come Matt doesn't have an Eddie the Eagle doll? He hates the NRA more than he loves little dolls. Eddie the Eagle Gun Safe Program is a gun accident prevention program for children in pre-kindergarten through 4th grade. So it's not for adults or even older kids. It's for pre-kindergarten through 4th grade. Eddie and his wing team teach children that if they ever come across a gun in an unsupervised situation, they need to stop, don't touch, run away, tell a grown-up. So, again, the NRA has one guy that buys suits, so therefore, let's cripple ourselves. Let's hinder our own abilities because of one guy. That's the way to win. So and then we got Dragon Man, one guy, except people love Dragon Man. And he's having his 30th annual machine gun shoot. At first I thought this was snow. And I was like, what the hell? It doesn't snow in Colorado. And then why are all these people wearing t-shirts and stuff and shorts and whatever if it's snowing? People in Oregon wear shorts when it's snowing. But why are they all wearing shorts and stuff when it's snowing? And then I figured out there's just a giant like canvas on the ground so they can collect all that brass. Dragon Man knows what's up. So 30th annual machine gun shoot, 17th and 18th next weekend. Says we will, for the first time ever, have local vendors outside the main building, food trucks, a coffee truck. Sunday morning, a giveaway and a chance to win a bullpup. Museum tours on both days, 10 a.m. and over 100 machine guns to rent all weekend. No reservations required. You got to be there at 10 a.m. to visit the museum because the tours go off, right? There's a, Saturday and Sunday for a 2-hour and 20-minute guided tour. 2 hours and 20 minutes in Dragon Man's personal collection. It's pretty freaking awesome. And you go in there with a whole bunch of other people and you hang out and you just experience what the Second Amendment protects. in a whole different way. If you have any questions, you can call them and we'll tell you all about it. But they made this pretty cool flyer that kind of mentions it all. I definitely dig that they're adding the food trucks and the coffee truck and that kind of stuff to make it an event. Dragon Man's isn't that far out of town, but he's out of town. And that way people can just, not even think about it and just hang out there for the day. Very cool. Then you got M13, which is one of the gunsmiths up in Vegas that I follow. And you've got Vegas, recreational firearms tourism, machine gun tourism, effectively. International. People come from all over the world to shoot machine guns recreationally, right? At basically inside this one building that's like not even a 50-yard range. It's like a 25-yard range. But to pull the trigger, to feel the recoil impulse and the way that the firearm feels, and you experience the smells and the sensations of shooting in full auto, to get a picture or two, and then to have been able to say you've done that. Those places, there's something like, let me start counting. There's the gun shop, the first one. There's the other one, the one that's down towards Pahrump. There's the second one. Then you got Range 702. You got Machine Gun Vegas, where Machine Gun BB is. You've got Battlefield Vegas. You've got the Gun Garage. Then you've got the outdoor range where Machine Gun BB goes, where all the stuff is at. The gun, what's it called? I can't ever think of it. Anyway, the Boulder Gun Club, or no, the Gun Club Vegas. Anyway, the gun club that's on the hill. Then you got the other range, the one where they have media day at the SHOT Show one down at the Boulder Gun Club or Boulder Range or whatever it is. So you've got people that shoot out there that don't necessarily have a brick and mortar, but you sign up with them. They take you out to one of these outdoor ranges. Then you've got the Clark County range, which is hands down one of the best outdoor ranges I've been to so far. I haven't been to all the outdoor ranges by any means, but of all the outdoor ranges I've been to, I don't know, hundreds of them. It's one of the nicest ever. It's a really cool one. The fact that you can turn around and see Vegas like a train set in the valley behind you is insane. But the range itself is amazing. It's a really cool range. The weather in Vegas and everything is just, it all adds to it. But, so you've got lots of places in Vegas that offer machine gun rentals. And that means that the gunsmiths in Vegas, the guns shooting, the people are shooting in Vegas, see more rounds than almost anything else on the planet. The most rounds that go through firearms are in Las Vegas. And I'm willing for somebody to challenge me on that, but I can't think of any other guns that are in operation more often than the ones in Vegas. So that's added a whole nother realm. And those aren't shooting magical fairy dust. Those are shooting the same ammo that everyone wants to buy. So is that ammo going to no good use, or is that ammo changing the world? And we're not, we're seeing people that are now familiar with firearms. Do you think people are coming out of like Battlefield Vegas crying because their experience with a machine gun? Or are they coming out there with smiles ear to ear, usually with parents who took them there, understanding that guns aren't all that what they see in the movies, that they are just machines that break all the damn time and are super expensive and kind of heavy and, don't work all the time. Yeah, that's what's actually coming out of that. Anyway, I think Vegas and the recreational shooting, the international tourism is awesome. It also inspired, Florida, where else? The other places that I've mentioned in the past that have machine guns for rent now, Arizona. Anyway, so it's created an industry and it's awesome. So I definitely enjoy following the gunsmiths up there as well as some of the ranges and stuff, just to see that element of firearms that has never existed before and is pretty much not being paid attention to by enough people, I don't think, or appreciated, let's say, by enough folks, because it's a pretty decent, interesting thing. And it's got the potential for who knows what, because it's unknown and it's been so successful and nobody's paying attention to it. What's going to happen there is unknown. But what I do know is that the gunsmiths there are probably no more than most of the gunsmiths on the planet at this point, even armorers that deal with this stuff for a living. So when you can see something like dropping the center rivet out or the center of a rear trunnion rivet, I don't know how many people understand or appreciate what that is right there, but that's art right there. That's magic. That's an indication that the machinist has done this so many times that they're able to create a pipe out of a solid rivet with a mill out of a rear trunnion. Some parts kit somewhere is just a little bit nicer because of that effort right there. And that doesn't just happen. You don't just buy a mill and go, oh, you know what I'm going to do? Bore the center out of a solid rivet. Awesome stuff. Gun policy, FPC, posting this shit about whatever. So you can be offended by what's put out there to be offensive. You can hit all the softballs you want and think of yourself as Babe Ruth. You can do that all day and night. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to challenge people to not do that shit here. All right, this guy's pretty good. NRA, everybody hates NRA.
Next to my family. This right here is the only reason we're alive. No one ever told my story. We all know why. My name is Raul. On July 3rd this year, we're celebrating our freedom at a friend's house when the unthinkable happened.
I'm not going to get into it because I don't like to exploit situations, but everything about this is what the internet commandos are going to suggest is worst case. And I just throw it up here because everybody wants to hate the NRA, and 178,000 likes on Instagram. If you don't think of these things as tools, if you don't think of these things as the only way that we have to see actual analytics for what other people are doing out there and a finger on the pulse, you can listen to somebody who just listens and regurgitates stuff and consider that your finger on the pulse, or you can pay attention to things like how many times people are clicking on stuff that's offered to them by different venues. This same story is out on 18 different platforms from 18 different people claiming, appreciation for the values behind this story. And then it's also going to be out there on 25 different platforms urging you to fear the situation that might happen because it happened to one other guy. Instead of showing you how some kid won the spelling bee and telling you, hey, all you got to do is work hard and you can win the spelling bee. Or about how some girl won an engineering scholarship and how you can work hard and win an engineering scholarship. You get to pay attention to things, you choose to pay attention to things, and things are offered to you. Those are all different elements, and you decide which one you're going to pick up. So I'm posting this kind of stuff not because I'm jumping on the bullshit train, but to illustrate there's a bullshit train. You can either watch it go by, you can get on it, or you can choose to fucking walk a different path. All right. Dragon Man's daughter, Melissa, had her birthday, and I like that she took a week off for her birthday. I'm going to mention this because I'm going to make a campaign about this. Quit telling people your fucking birthdays. Definitely don't tell people the birthdays of your children or your spouses or your other family members. What the fuck, people? This is the internet. Sure, we all understand that most of us are decent, but there's also assholes. You wouldn't post the date of birth in your window for anybody to see. Quit posting it on the internet. I'm going to encourage people to celebrate a birthday week. Pick some celebrity that's in the same month if you want and say that you got the same birthday as them, but you have no obligation to tell the internet your birthday. You have no obligation to tell people you're casually acquainted with details about your life. And we are better off when we're a little bit more aware of this kind of stuff. But anyway, happy birthday to Melissa. Dragon Man's is an institution that should be appreciated, and it will go down as one of the most awesome explorations of what the Second Amendment protects in so many different ways. Being an FFL, being comfortable with media, having his collection and sharing it, being such a cool ambassador. Everything that I talked about in Vegas, except for the last 30 years and in the middle of nowhere, Colorado. Dragon Man's just a unique dude, and his daughter is freaking awesome too. Running the shop and doing her thing, being comfortable, again, sharing from her perspective what's going on. There's little girls out there that are going to see Melissa and have her as an inspiration to what they want to do when they grow up. We didn't live in that world back in the day. We do now. So again, people want to regurgitate bullshit from others, and you can go out and seek positive, inspirational shit. They don't have to be so pessimistic about. Speaking about being pessimistic, this dude made a bunch of F-bomb stickers, and I guess he's giving them away. So he took the old classic F-bomb and added it to the F-switch. So an interesting mashup, so to speak. Foss does a show overnight. He does one on Wednesdays you can check out in the middle of the night, and then every other Saturday. This Saturday he just had one, so it'll be a couple weeks, and then check out his shows in the evenings. Non-scripted, gun-focused, and often Second Amendment issues. Let's see. The Cape Gunworks is back, or was back this week. So this is just a post letting people know that they were doing their show live again. DC Project will be in DC next weekend, the 17th, the same weekend as Dragon Man's machine gun shoot, which makes it difficult for me because I'd rather be at both places. Can't be at either one, but definitely wish I could be at both. The machine gun shoot is pretty cool. I would probably default to the DC Project if I had a chance, because that happens less often, less frequently, and honestly it is changing the frickin' world. So the fact that the ladies are back in DC, and how many posts about it are there? There's themselves posting it, and barely themselves. Like their own organization is posting it, but not even the ladies themselves are posting it. And I don't know why. So probably the biggest thing that's happened in this year for 2A. And they're all going there on their own dime. They're probably taking time off of work to go. They're going there without any congratulations, without any sponsorships that I'm aware of. Without any fanfare, without any, hey, how you getting there, and what's the travel been like, and what's the accommodations like. Instead, they'll post some pictures, and some people will go, thanks, and then we'll consider to take it for granted and not appreciate it again for a while. But awesome stuff is happening there. Each one of these pictures, think about how, well, not these pictures so much, but like these group pictures. Think about in this picture how much effort it took, how much how much effort, I guess, went into changing schedules and making it possible to be in Vegas. This was at SHOT Show this year, to be in Vegas in a questionable time, and then go upstairs on this Wednesday afternoon, to be part of this picture. Amazing effort, amazing cost. This one was from the 2 years before, I think, at SHOT Show. Same thing. Crazy amount of effort there. And that's just, not every girl in the gun industry is in the DC Project for sure. So this is just a small footprint of the females at SHOT Show. But again, tremendous effort. And then here, this was that Congressional Firearms We Give a Shit committee or whatever that started even convening again, thanks to the effort of the DC Project. And then again, bringing everybody together, not just to chat in their offices, but in this like more casual environment. This is a bunch of ladies showing up in DC to testify, to offer testimonials to bullshit infringements, and the unity and camaraderie there. Again, think about the time that these ladies are spending as they walk up to the lawn, as they're hanging out waiting for the picture, as it happens and it's over, and they're having their own versions of after action conversations and what we could have done differently and what we're going to do next time. And they're walking back and having something to eat, and they're talking about each other's lives and understanding more and more about each other. And that's what's creating the community that's saving the Second Amendment. It's happening in front of everybody. Nobody's paying attention to it. Pretty awesome, though. Then we got a guy from, David and Manny again. And this time it was show and tell. So he's got a 22 long rifle, bullshit 9mm, a 5.56, and then a 50 BMG. The four calibers that represent a bunch of stuff that everybody has to talk about. Let's see. So, I posted it. Let's go check out. Anybody say anything important? Foss is live. Is Foss live right now? Or are you just posting his channel? Thanks. Wish I could go to either, but lack of funds. Yeah, it's frustrating. I overextended going to these things, so I can't recommend it. I obviously don't do it anymore, but I appreciate having the experience of going to them. I would definitely go back. It's frustrating because once you've been to DC for a rally once or twice, you know what to do. And it's like you can't go there. Some people live right next to it and they know what to do, but they already knew what to do. So for those of us, that we've accomplished something, we've figured out what to do in DC to get there. Well, if you don't have the opportunity to go there again, that's super frustrating. But whatever. So then we've got Burden. This is from Green Beret Foundation. Burden Bearer Support Initiative was established not only to honor the life and legacy of Master Sergeant Marsanio, Mersek. Okay, I can't say his name. But to an earmark funds specifically for meeting the mental health, but okay, not specifically for the legacy of Master Sergeant, whatever, but to earmark funds specifically for meeting the mental health care needs of Green Berets and their families, which are not covered by military health care or other benefits. The Green Beret Foundation steps in to cover out-of-network therapy expenses for the surviving spouses of active duty, separated, and retired Green Berets who die by suicide. Green Beret Foundation understands the importance of post-vention, I don't know what that is, and will stand, I don't know what that, post-vention, like intervention, but post-vention maybe? And understands the importance of post-vention and will stand by and behind suicide survivors to support them in their evolving needs. So I think I butchered that pretty good, but suicide isn't necessarily covered by retirement situations with military. So when you got people that are given tasks that are significant and they're often given the physical preparation and the mental ability to accomplish the tasks, but we've only started to learn how to address and care for the mental health of the individuals after. So, it happens that some people don't deal well with the aftermath, and in times of stress, choose something that has fatal, lethal consequences, suicide. And if that happens and it's not covered, then this is an initiative, the Burden Bear Support Initiative, BBSI, Burden Bearer Initiative was established to help with that for the Green Berets. Now the SEALs do it probably, and I'm sure Rangers do it, and other units do it. It's one way to accomplish it. Groups, individual units, and areas of the military or whatever are going to support at different levels, and it's to some extent it's necessary, I think, because you're going to have individuals that understand specific needs and circumstances better than larger groups or whatever. But creating awareness, that's what we're trying to do here. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, Suicide Prevention Month, I believe. I know there was a Suicide Prevention Week this month, so a lot of focus on that.
Just some breaking news.
As opposed to reaction to an incident. When we focus on this stuff intentionally for a month or a week, it gives us an opportunity to talk about things, not for the person who's at stress at the moment, but for somebody who might encounter somebody at stress in the future, and to understand what resources are available. Okay, so again, got bullshit happening in Canada, of course, Canadian tyranny. A lot of people are going to be content to, I told you so, and whatever. We can move on from that. The ping pong game is when we just sit around laughing at each other and saying, I told you so. We can fucking move on from that already. We can fucking move on from that already. Coleonora usually does a good job of moving on from that, but I'm not here to say I told you so or hype the bullshit. All right, so gun policy again. So, when they're not looking up somebody's nostril or looking in somebody's weird eyeball, they're saying goofy shit. So I guess in order to attract the most, some of the people that they're interested in marketing to, they're going to say things, and maybe they're trying to get the attention of something and cause something or get somebody frustrated. I don't know what they're doing here. But they're saying sue the tyrants, and they've got Fast and Furious, Ruby Ridge, and Waco in here. And it goes, they are prepared to murder you for your compliance while running weapons to aid organized crime. Help defeat the tyrants at the ATF in our lawsuit challenging the frame and receiver final rule. None of it's wrong and none of it's untrue, but it is certainly catering or marketing to I don't know what the fuck, really, honestly. This is kind of interesting. So I posted it in here mostly to be like, we're not supposed to forget shit because it's important to understand. But at the same time, I don't know what the hell people are. So how long can an instance be an echo of if it only happens once, it's not a tendency, right? If it only happens a couple of times, it's not a common occurrence. At the same time, you don't want to forget the times that it happened, but I don't know. There's some line there that we have to figure out where to be at that line, I guess. Now you've got Alan Anchor posting a Keep America Free, buy a gun, little pin. I guess they're doing pins now. So if you're looking for something to have to get your message across, to have a well-made representation of your logo or a message that you're using for maybe marketing an organization or a project or a campaign, consider Alan Anchor over in California, getting shit done behind the lines of California, as they say. Krabby saying he likes that one. So here we got Shan. This time we're looking up Shan's nose. Gun policy. She said the line, a radical court. And I spell radical like this. It's supposed to mean SpongeBob. So that's how the kids say SpongeBob writing now. Join the FPC grassroots army. So let's see what Shan said. She said, this is yet another example of a radical court operating widely out of step with the American people and the Constitution. Shan Watts, founder of Moms Demand Actions, responding to the FPC win that struck down the ban on handgun carry by young adults in the state of Texas. Holy shit. So first off, FPC won this in Texas? Damn, I didn't know young people in Texas owe this to FPC. Second, come on, man. Nobody wants to see up Shan's nose. And the next thing is, I don't know. Whatever. They're only one complaining that no one's paying attention to 1808. So I got to give them that. On the other hand, I don't know. I guess somebody's got to pat themselves on the back for what happened in Texas. We got a lot of infringements, and that's like a lot of barking dogs, right? I'm going to complain every time somebody stops at every barking dog. You got to be aware of the barking dogs. Don't be stupid. Look at them. Make sure they're not a barking dog with an open fence and a taste for your leg or something. But at the same time, you see it's a barking dog, you keep walking. And if you stop and laugh at the barking dog every time you walk past it, that's not helping nobody either. So I don't like this laughing at the barking dog or going up and mocking the barking dog for being on a chain. I don't get it. So this one I missed. I couldn't watch this one, but I did want to. Triggerology had, it says, After Dark is coming with Latina firepower. Going to have California Senate candidate Claudia, and then SoCal Second Amendment advocate Sin Guns. So basically two chicks that are interested in politics and firearms, I'm assuming, because they're on Triggerology's channel. So I think that was on Instagram. And if he's watching, sometimes he watches this. Does this go on YouTube? I didn't see it on YouTube. So, Instagram's okay, but it is not a place for video platform. It is not a good place for video. I don't know how you can't watch things after 24 hours. And so you're basically dooming it to be never watched again if you do stuff on Instagram. Supplement with Instagram and YouTube, but YouTube will archive what you're doing. So this one was interesting. I was interested in watching that one. Alan Anchor is ripping off the Free Patch Friday by offering free shipping, I believe. So I'm posting this for my lawyer so that we can take him to court on this. But allegedly, if you buy $35 worth of stuff, whatever it is, patches, decals, maybe a flag, maybe some sort of shirt or a hat, or maybe a pin like that last one. If you buy $35 worth of stuff, though, in one order, then they don't even charge you for shipping, which is probably criminal and definitely infringing on Free Patch Friday. So if they're still in business, whenever you listen to this, maybe consider buying something from Alan Anchor. Maybe. Let's see. So Tatiana Whitlock is an advocate up in Maine, and I never knew about this one, but she posted this. Shameless family promo. Her father and brother designed an awesome dog toy. If you have a dog and you need one, their puppies can't get enough, and she really does appreciate not having to pick up slimy tennis balls. Well, first off, I don't have a dog that fetches tennis balls, but I have experienced that, and they're gross. So this is some sort of sticky thing, like a stick with a hook at the end, and you can wing this ball that has a rope on it, so you never have to touch the ball. So kind of neat. I can definitely see that being fun for a dog, but also super easy for people that shoot 9mm and have no arm or wrist strength, so they can't throw a ball. You know, people that shoot 9mm, they probably throw a ball like 4 or 5 feet and they think that they're throwing it really far. But if they winged it with this thing, they'd be able to wing it, you know, the distance a small child could throw a ball. And a regular person throwing a ball with this would be able to wing it far enough for a dog to really enjoy that run. So I really think this is kind of neat. And if it's helping out the family of Tatiana Whitlock, then it's a no-brainer. Oh, I guess I could put the link out here. It says Loop and Launch is the name of the place. So I'll put a link in the live chat here. Whoops. And if you're watching in the future, it's loopandlaunch.com, all spelled out, no spaces. All right, so next, we got a poll going. Let's take a look at that poll. YouTube and Instagram meet on the internet. They get into a fight. Who's going to win? According to the people listening to this show today, YouTube is going to beat up Instagram 44% of the time. Instagram is going to beat up YouTube 12% of the time. They're both going to beat each other up and both lose at the same time. They're both going to punch each other and fall over and both lose 31% of the time. So if you want to get in on that, then it's absolutely free. I've worked it out with YouTube this afternoon. And because we are hanging out with Connecticut Citizens Defense League, they've offered this poll today only for free. So if you're listening to the conversation right now and you want to vote in that poll, it's absolutely free, thanks to the Connecticut Citizens Defense League and YouTube. All right, next we're moving to an hour and 15. I think we still have, am I already quirking? Or I don't know how this works. I need to open this in a new window. So for the people that are listening to this in the future, potentially not watching it, I'm sharing the screen here. Screen sharing is on. And I'm about to jump over and see what's going on with the different radio shows. It looks like I am about to be, no, I'm not about to be quirking. Okay, I got a half an hour before Eye on the Target Radio comes on, and flip it over to subscriptions here. I think we'll see that, and I don't got nothing from Gun Owners Radio, and I don't got nothing from Come and Talk It. I think Come and Talk It will be the first one to go live here. All right, so we're heading back over to Instagram. We can't be that far away from the end. So this is another one from Mike. Mike will be on the Daily Gun Show tomorrow. He'll be jumping on Monday night to chat about 2A and being a Second Amendment activist in 2021. This is Mike explaining how you can make a difference in 2A right now.
Check out the websites, but then get involved. It's not enough just to look at the voter guide, send it to people, help these candidates get elected, help us turn around the culture and the politics in California. Thanks a lot. Hey everybody, it's Michael Schwartz from Gun Owners Radio. We are very close to San Diego County Gun Owners releasing their voter guide, which will be followed by Orange County Gun Owners and Inland Empire. Their voter guide should be out within just weeks. So please stay tuned. We have an election right around the corner. Check out the websites, but then get involved. It's not enough just to look at the voter guide.
We've got Soapbox. We got Ballot Box. We got, what's the other box? Polling box? No. There's another box. And then you got the bullet box. But you got the, dang it, I forgot. Charles had to come up with another one that I'd forgotten about. But anyway, so you got some options. One of them is helping and working with politicians. Some people don't want to. Some people dig it. You can support the people that dig it and not do it. Amazing, right? That's how we get things done. We get things accomplished by supporting the people that want to do the stuff that doesn't want to be done by the other people. All right, so Allen Anchor. What am I getting paid by Allen Anchor? What's up with this? So they got a bunch of different patches over here that they're showing off. And for some reason, unless I thought this was a good one to show off, I don't know which one of these I like so much, but these are pretty good patches here. So I guess they're into the high detail and quality materials and, you know, good design and everything. So if you want all those things, then check out Allen Acre. San Diego gun owners again, doing a pretty decent meme of making fun of gun control people. So it says, this is how politicians think gun control works. And they got some guy being ultimately frustrated at a stupid looking fence at the end of a walkway, with, again, the implication that anybody who wants to just going to walk around and not pay attention to the fence. You know, I don't know. I really like it. I've always liked this kind of concept. I don't know if it gets the point across. We're still living with gun control. So, you know what I'm saying? It isn't effective, or it hasn't worked, but I don't know if it's ineffective or if, you know, it should be supported more. Not sure. Ballot box, soapbox, jury box. Thank you. That's the other one, jury box. So we got our soapbox and our ballot box, and we got our jury box. So a lot of people like to go to that jury box where you take something to court. I think the soapbox where you get information out there is super effective, and it can be accomplished by so many people 24/7, 365. Some of those others require a court case to be in the mix, and then you only get that short time while the court case is being considered and figured out that you got a chance to do any kind of influence. And really, there's not a lot of influence there. Starting laws, you know, laws and stuff, and fighting laws, that's one thing, but you can also eliminate the possibility of bad laws by educating representatives. Now let's go back to the DC project and talk about ladies, 50 plus ladies that have been accomplishing that for 7 years now. Next up is another looking down the weird eyes and nose holes of what's his face. I don't get these. I really don't get these. This one says, it's got what's his face saying, do you realize the bullet out of an AR-15 travels 5 times as rapidly as a bullet out of any other gun? I mean, I get it, but I don't get it, because this so much assumption here. You have to assume people understand how bullshit this is to understand how bullshit this is. But if you don't educate, you're only assuming. So I don't get this strategy. This is preaching to the choir. This is accomplishing nothing. Plus, I don't like fucking looking up people's noses and eyeballs and shit. I don't know where they come up with this as being good. It's so Big Brother. It's definitely repulsive. All right, then you get Crossroads of Gun Shows. This is people that do the SAR show each year. So they want to sponsor our shit. That'd be awesome. But I'm going to continue to sponsor their shit. Gun shows are awesome. We call our daily show the Daily Gun Show because gun shows are super freaking important. I've been a big fan of them. I've watched them come and go and die and wither and sometimes get a little bit revived, but it was fake and then they're dying again. Luckily, we're seeing them evolve into something else. Hopefully, it'll be something just as good or something that can continue to live. You know, it's a evolution of, but frustrating. So anyway, I'm going to continue to support them, even though I can't get to them. It'd be great if I could get to them. Looking for 300 Patreon. So if you want to be just get on board and throw us a cup of coffee each month or lunch, all that adds up, and then eventually we'll be going to gun shows again. But gun shows, freaking awesome. There's one up in Phoenix on September 10th and 11th. That's this weekend. 5X, no, it doesn't. I don't know what that means. Let's see. So then you got gun policy again, FPC, complaining about New York. They said it again. This time they said it in yet another case challenging their post New York State Rifle and Pistol Association decision, carry permit scheme. It's very clear they have some opinions. So they say historically disarming. Well, I don't know. See, I don't get this. Like, this is their summary of what the government said. I get what they're trying to do here, but again, singing to the choir. I don't know what they're accomplishing here. Yes, we need to bring these messages out, but this is not bringing the message out. This is shouting the message at people who understand it already. This is super cool. So I don't know if I can get this any bigger. So there are whatever 18 times 3 is, 40 something. 9 megaton intercontinental ballistic missiles in the United States. Excuse me, the silos. The missiles aren't there anymore. Let me see. I can bring it up over here maybe. and then bring it across. Maybe not. Dang, I thought I could get it bigger. I almost figured out a scam to get this bigger, but it ain't gonna work. So I get it bigger, but I can't get it to be bigger on the screen. Anyhow, there's X number, there's 18 9-kiloton intercontinental ballistic missile silos in Tucson. There's also 18 of them in Kansas, and there's 18 of them in Arkansas. And one of them was left intact when the SALT talks destroyed them back in the 80s. So, you know, as part of the reduction in nuclear armaments, we took apart all of our 9-story deep intercontinental ballistic missile silos, except for this one in Tucson. So one of them we left open, and we broke the roof on it, and we poked a hole in the missile so that the commies could take a look and make sure that we're not going to shoot it at them. But now we can all go in there and look. You can go you used to be able to camp in there. You used to be able to sleep overnight in there. But you can go walk around. You used to be able to walk all the way down at the bottom. That's where they're touching before. So in this one movie, Star Trek, whatever it was, 4, I think, whatever the movie is, they talk about how some guy who invented something used a nuclear missile to make the thing, and then a bunch of the Star Wars movies filmed in here, and boom, it's filmed in the nuclear missile silo. So they went in, and the movie company like paid to have all this shit done to the silo. It's all crazy looking and broken and stuff. And it's not like that in real life. And then made the movie, and then pulled all their shit out of there, made it go all back to normal, but they left one sticker on the missile, or actually in a housing that holds the missile up in the air. And when you do the tour and you go underneath the missile, you get to see the picture or the little decal that they left on there from the filming of the movie. But super, super cool. And now if you didn't hate Jean-Luc Picard already, you can now hate him, because nobody in real life gets to walk out on that little platform. The only people that get to walk on that little platform, their uncle trained them a long time on how to not ruin that missile. Some dude walked out on that little platform like that in Arkansas, and he dropped a nut or a socket that was the size of like a coffee can, a big ass socket, and he drops it down the missile, and this missile's made out of an aluminum can. So this socket smashed into the missile and broke it, started to pour out whatever fuel that was in the rocket all over the 9-story silo. Everybody panicked and booked out of there. And then the Air Force was like, I don't know what to do. You know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then everybody else is going around not figuring out what to do. Nobody called the Army to figure it out. So anyway, long story short, that missile blew up in its silo in peacetime in Arkansas, in Little Rock, kind of. And I got to chat with the dude who owns that silo and owned the property, and had a pretty good time. Thanks to Ghost for that. And it was a freaking awesome afternoon. Got a chunk of the rock from the silo where the thing blew up, and it blew up from a guy standing on the same platform the fucking Jean-Luc Picard standing on right there with Data. I don't care about Data. First off, we shouldn't let robots touch our missiles, but it's in the future and it's fake. Jean-Luc Picard, on the other hand, come on, man. Where are they letting that guy hang out in a cool place that's super dangerous? I don't feel like actors should be able to do it. Anyway, that was September. Let me close this if I can. That was September 8th, 1966, was the official or the original premiere of the Star Trek. Wait. The original premiere was on this day in 1966. Oh no, they're talking about the original premiere of Star Trek. So it has nothing to do with the actual movie First Contact. I don't know. I didn't read that part of it. I took the opportunity to talk about the missile though, even though it's a stupid anniversary of Star Trek. Anyway. Whatever. So Star Trek started, I guess, this week. They should do the anniversary of the missile. I feel like that was deceptive. Anyway, then, or the anniversary of the missile being in the movie. You got this cool little graphic from Cape Gunworks on their backup channel, and they're saying anytime's a good time to go check out their website, capegunworks.com. I'm not going to link to it because I don't think I'm allowed to link to that kind of stuff on the YouTube. Tony Simon, friend of ours from the New Jersey. You know, there's a New Jersey. Well, that dude hosts what he calls the diversity shoots. He's got one coming up this September 15th, which is Wednesday. You can go grab a ticket if you're going. And if you're not going, you can grab a ticket just to help him buy some pizzas for the people that do show up. Maybe even help him out with some of that gas he spends to drive over there. Tony's a Marine, well, ex-Marine, whatever the hell you call him. And not an ex-Marine, sorry. He's a retired, what the hell do they call him? He's a Marine. And he lives in New Jersey. He's not stoked about the New Jersey gun laws and the lack of awareness of firearms for people in New Jersey because of those laws. So he got together with some of the ranges. He's now doing this in a couple of different states, a bunch of different ranges, and he brings people together to give them an orientation and a familiarization with firearms. And if they want to, they get to go on the range and shoot a few rounds. It's absolutely free. He feeds them, gives them an opportunity to experience our community and the things that make firearms ownership so interesting, and the people that make firearms owner so cool to hang out with. So he's got one coming up on the 15th. He's got another one coming up on the 28th of September. That one will be also in New Jersey. Well, that one will be back in New Jersey. This one on the 15th is up in Pennsylvania. Then he's got one on the 13th, and then another one on the 26th. And those are in October in New Jersey. And he posts quite a bit on the social platforms, so he's kind of kicking it on multiple fronts, not to mention his podcasts. So then we get back to Triggerology and complaining about whoever this guy is, U.S. Senate candidate, New York, I guess. He says, this person from New York says, the weapons I carried in combat have no place on our streets or in our schools. We need an assault weapons ban, and we need it now. So then Triggerology is saying another bro vet who believes his service makes him an expert in other people's defensive needs. Pound sand. A lot of times people swear at people, and a lot of times people just are a lot more abusive in their replies, and you know, rightfully so, because we're being persecuted. But I think Triggerology showed restraint in this one and gave him a couple of good jabs that if he's legit, if this person from New York is legit, then they'll understand the respect given to the disagreement with their policy or their position, right? So by calling him a bro vet, you're saying you're worthless, dude. You can't volunteer for something and then lord that over somebody. You have to give up something. Like, you can't say I'm going to volunteer for the good of all and then beat everyone with the fact that you volunteered. If you volunteered in order to get something out of it, then you didn't volunteer, right? You did whatever needed to be done for you to get. So that bro vet is a great way to get that across to that guy. And then believing that his service makes him an expert in other people's defensive needs. Again, that's a great way to address the concept that this guy is not aware, that he's narrow-minded in scope, and he's not paying attention to other people's situation. And then finally, he's telling him to pound sand instead of swearing at him. So I dig it. I don't know if pound sand is a new hashtag or what, but let's grab that one. That would be cool. It has nothing to do with guns. It gets our point across, and it's not rude. I like it. Anyway, you see a lot of these things being rude. Now he goes over and calls him a dictator. Wannabe. No one should control your defensive tools. You should own the most awesome and effective firepower available to defend your most valuable possession, your life, period. So, whatever. He's a little bit more rude over here, but I dig the pound sand in this one. Dang it. So I have to go find where we're at again. Oh, I think we're up here. I lost my place on the screen. So for people that are listening, this is a nice break for you to consider never doing this. So Utah Shooters is a place up in Utah that has done a lot of cool things over the years, including Shootah, which is a yearly, I think it's annual, get together where they bring people in Utah together and give them an opportunity to meet up and shoot, and sort of like a gun show and a day at the range mixed together. They also do the, I believe they're the same people that do UGE, the Utah Gun Exchange forum and video hosting platform. If it isn't, they're affiliated because they're both in Utah. And Utah does have a peninsula, or I mean a panhandle to some extent. So, you know, it's questionable, but whatever. So anyway, we get this post, and it's got the person holding a dong handle, like a dong holder. And then you've got the person using a vert grip as a hand stop. And there's so many reasons that this is applicable that I figured it would be worth posting. So if you are holding your vert grip like this, you're wrong, and you need to figure out why. And if you don't like being told you're wrong. That's too bad, but you're fucking wrong. And when you hold it like this, there's reasons for that. And if you haven't figured those out and you don't know, you're welcome. Now you have something to go explore, and hopefully you'll have fun figuring it out, and you'll learn how to find the information instead of just accepting bullshit. This is an automatic disqualifier. If you're holding your gun like this, it illustrates that you only possess. You do not understand. So, great post. I'll leave it at that. Enough said. Gun policy, again, making fun of some movie, I guess. The FPC law team is working hard on the next brief following the federal judge's order. Keep your eyes open and for updates. I don't know what they're talking about. So they got upset about something. They decided, let's meme it. So they took an old movie of some boxers and they made it into films, and they got the ATF boxer, and then they go, you're worried. They're worried. You'll cut them and you'll hurt them. You'll see. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So I put it up there because I got no idea what's going on. No idea. Did they change it on me? They can't put something up and then change it. Maybe I clicked that when I was sleeping or something. I have no idea what that one was. Gray Man Brief, another post or channel that I follow over there. Let's see. They need to be charged for defacing government property. That sticker is damage. You talking about in the movie? I don't think the museum is government property anymore. It might be. I don't think it's government property anymore, dude. I think the museum is owned by the museum. I think. And I think the museum is just a nonprofit. I don't think somebody owns it. But I think that the museum, the 9-story deep intercontinental ballistic missile silo and missile in it and everything around it, including the Huey and the building and everything, I think all of that is owned by the museum. I don't think the government owns it. It was government property. But I'm not sure. But I'm almost positive they don't own it. But yeah, otherwise we'd all be entitled to reimbursement. And Star Trek should have to pay the bill. So let's see. For your, I don't know what this means. FYSA. What does that mean? Let's go find out. For your something A? For your something A. Abbreviations for your situational awareness. All right, there you go. You got a new one. You're welcome. For your situational awareness, some international airport in Texas experienced a power outage for approximately 3 hours yesterday, which caused 37 outgoing flights to be canceled. In addition, 59 flights delayed. The delays will also affect flights today. Travelers in many areas of the airport were unable to navigate due to what witnesses said was pitch black conditions, as emergency generators were initially delayed in being activated and once powered on, only lit the exits. Nearby vehicular traffic was congested to a standstill and entry roads were blocked to incoming traffic. The outage was caused by an underground equipment malfunction, does not appear to be nefarious in actions. However, obviously if it was nefarious in actions, they would never tell you. Debrief, an airport is in a location that limits what everyday carry items we carry due to security measures. Plan around that. Carry a flashlight, water, cash, portable battery bank, alternative, defensive, and then they classify the rest, so you have to pay for their stuff. So I don't know what you think. So are you scared of stuff that never happens happening? Or do you understand that things can happen and it doesn't take much to bring a little headlamp with you? If you're the only person in an airport that's dark and you're the only person with a headlight, are you the superhero? And does everyone gasp in respect for your preparedness? Or do you get punched in the face by the first person bigger than you and your headlamp gets stolen? Nobody ever thinks about the rudeness of the situation that they're preparing for. So maybe you should just learn how to do things in the dark. Dun, dun, dun. Or carry a headlamp and use it discretionally. Or learn how to fight people to try to take your shit. Next, we get this guy from Mexico who I believe is a dentist. And I've been following his page for a long time. I don't post his stuff very often, but I sent him down some patches and he's been taking a bunch of pictures with his little miniature collections. He's got a bunch of these little miniature guns, which I think are neat because I don't know how the hell he gets them all. Some of them I understand. You can buy them. But other ones, I don't know where the hell he gets them. And then he also makes things. It's not really dollhouse furniture because it's usually like guns and stuff, but not guns, but gun stuff. He did make a little Mac. Is that in there? Maybe it's too big for this collection, but he made a little Mac 10, I believe, out of just making it. And he kind of shows a lot of the processes and stuff. Anyway, because he's a dentist and he's used to working on, I don't know what the hell he does, but he makes something in real life, I'm sure. He's really good at making tiny things out of metal, welds them and tack welds them and bends them and shapes them and finishes them and stuff. So lots of cool stuff on his channel. And if you're not following channels from Mexico, what are you, not following anybody from other countries? What's up with that? Our largest international border on the planet. Let's see. So Smith & Wesson got sick of Massachusetts being mean to them and said, you know what? We don't have to stay here. And they didn't. They moved to Tennessee. So in Maryville, Tennessee, a whole shit ton of people are employed to build a Smith & Wesson factory. So their new headquarters is moving forward. They say their team is hard at work installing walls on a 625,000 square foot facility. Stay tuned for more updates as their new home comes together. So here you are. Massachusetts can go suck it. Smith & Wessons ain't going to be made there anymore, even though they were invented there and have been made there forever. And now people in Tennessee are flexing their 625,000 square foot building skills and bringing in this cool crane. You know what I'd be doing? I'd be flying a drone right here and trying to get cool drone footage of that crane. Cape Gunworks, you ever heard of them? Gun shop in Massachusetts. They're doing their Top Shots internet invitational, posting about that again. Another picture, or another one from Cape Gunworks. This time Tony's doing his, what does he call it? I forget what he calls it. Toby Takes on the World is what he's calling this particular one. But basically you can shoot against his target in a postal match. You would download this target, print it out, and shoot it, and then be able to shoot against him. Or I guess if you go to the range, you shoot the same target he shoots, and then you see if you beat him or not. Kind of cool. And if you had a range, would you be doing that? Would you be shooting each week and then seeing how many people can, outshoot you? Kind of cool. Let's see. I never leave the spot I am sitting in. Stuff is dangerous. I don't want to take any chances. Typing is dangerous enough. Typing is dangerous for the other guy when you have a cutting wit that you type about. That little gun board is super cool. Took my friend to a range, never shot a gun before. Right on. And that's something else. I'd like to see a lot more videos about taking people to the range to share the experience of how you prepared and what kind of experience, what time, how the experience was, and, to give people more preparation and understanding of what it's like to bring people to the range, right? Let's see, the fight by local organizations in Colorado has been tremendously successful. This may be the sign of things to come for California and Maryland. So a lot of people want to bitch and moan all the time. It's more money to bitch and moan. You get a lot of people coming along and putting their hand on your shoulders and going, oh, poor person who's crying all the time, blah, blah, blah. So it's fun to cry all the time, and everybody gives you free meal when you're crying all the time or whatever. So, it encourages people to cry all the time. Luckily, we don't have everybody crying all the time. So something happened in Colorado. 4 local level assault weapons bans have been challenged and have had their enforcements stayed. Is it a success? No. Is it a win? I don't know. Is it a, minor victory? Yeah. But, paying attention to this and being aware of it is actually having a complete picture. If we're winning on 75 fronts, but the person making the most money gets paid to bitch about the time we lose, is that really helping us? We don't have to accept what we're given. If you don't like what you got, support the stuff that's different or be different, right? Like, there's other things that can be done, and you could do some of that. Everything that exists is somebody who said, I'm going to do it differently. Like, some of the shit that exists is because somebody said, oh, I'm going to do this again. But some of the best stuff that exists is because somebody said, I can do this differently. Speaking of doing things differently, so Gat Guns is a gun shop in Cook County, or in Kane County, Illinois, outside of Cook County, where Chicago is. And this is a thing that they posted on the Instagrams where it's got some dude pointing at you, and his head is a bag of money, and it says tax on there. And then it says, when you shop at Gat Guns, you avoid Cook County sales tax. So here's the deal. Cook County is where Chicago is. Everybody hates Chicago. So everybody's going to hate Cook County also. Everything that you've ever heard that's lame about Chicago has probably been in Cook County, except for the Blues Brothers. That was filmed in Cook County. Everything else is lame in Cook County. Kane County is some other county, but it's not that far away. It's like right next door probably. So they're saying they're blah, blah, blah down the route and blah, blah, blah. They're not that far away from Chicago. So they're basically giving people directions and saying, you don't got to pay taxes out here. I think that's cool. So if you don't like it, you can suck it. You can go love Chicago more. But there are other gun shops outside of Chicago that I'm okay with. But Get Guns is awesome. All right, next up is Green Beret Foundation. You might not want to listen to this if you're weak and you like to complain about shit all the time, because this is the future. So this is, again, from the Green Beret Foundation. And keep in mind, this is what is out for the public. This is what is now decided to be consumable at the public level. So this is no longer classified. This is no longer top secret. This is no longer any level that is outside the realm of available for public consumption. Understand what that means, right? There's stuff that you don't know about. There's stuff that you will not know about. And there's stuff that they want you to know about. And there's reasons for all of those things. You can complain about that, but in reality, we need all that. So this is a post, just a plain old post from out of nowhere, letting us know that Green Berets from the first group conducted 2 weeks of hands-on experimentation with Project Origin, unmanned systems at Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah. Project Origin vehicles are the evolution of multiple soldier operational equipments, those little robot dogs. This GVSC-led rapid prototyping effort allows the Army to conduct technology and autonomous behavior integration for follow-on assessments with soldiers to better understand what soldiers need from unmanned systems. So if you aren't reading into this, they started using the robot dogs. Now we got robot vehicle mounted, what are we saying? Autonomous vehicle mounted weapon systems to support existing humans. The future ain't going to be worrying about 1 million Chinese people getting on a boat and coming over here of fighting age. If you believe in that stuff, you're not paying attention to the world. So I'm just going to leave that one there. Locked and Loaded, awesome show, will be happening this afternoon. I guess Beth from USCCA gave the girl at Locked and Loaded a Lego figurine. Pretty neat. You can have those made nowadays. And now we get another picture of everybody's freaking face. You got Shan, you got what's-her-face, you got this dude, you got them people. They have not stopped pushing for an assault weapons ban. We must keep pushing back. You know, I'm all about this message, and you know, whatever. We can stand around not doing it, or we could actually get behind something and make them sorry for suggesting an infringement is acceptable, necessary, or even plausible. Or let them push the Overton window right over you. Tactical Medic is a friend of ours up in Phoenix, and they'll be doing that gun show that I mentioned this weekend. But the event for James is happening this weekend in Tennessee. He didn't want anybody to mourn his passing, so everybody's getting together. Alumni and people that are able are getting together in Camden to celebrate the time they had with him. So again, I'm not going to mourn nothing, but recognize an awesome guy. Next up is stupid FPC again. A new bill to disarm the IRS is here, and it's stronger than the last. Support HR 8762 and help disarm an agency that should have never been armed in the first place. So you got Disarm the IRS Part 2. HR 8762 does a couple of things. It prohibits armed agents. It prohibits tactically trained agents. It prohibits future agency firearm and ammunition purchases. I mean, I don't think anybody, some people do want a big armed IRS, but we got multiple fights.
You and I are constantly bombarded by misinformation from politicians, celebrities, and media personalities who demonize guns.
Sounds like Eye on the Target Radio is getting started here. So let's see. This is This is from a place in Cook County in Illinois where we were just talking about, and this is some sheriff getting all pissed about some laws that were, what do they call them, enacted, that'll take place on the 23rd, or excuse me, in 2023.
For almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska before we can even look for them.
So I don't know how they came up with such weird shit, but basically they don't have bail anymore. So all those things he talked about, murder, battery, arson, there's no bail. That means when the person gets arrested, they'll just let them back out on the streets with maybe with an ankle monitor, and there's no holding them until court. And then what they're saying is if the person books, they can't do nothing about it for like a while. So it's Indiana's fault. So just keep in mind, Indiana is the fault of all of this. So next we get Teresa Inneker, who is from New Jersey. She's a lawyer. And it says, join us in New Jersey for the 22nd, October 22nd. And then he said, space is limited, ticket in the profile. So I guess there's going to be a second annual New Jersey fundraiser meet and greet with the women of the DC Project from New Jersey. It's at a fire department in a place in New Jersey, and it's going to cost $50. It's a fundraiser, so it's $50 or more. You can get speakers are going to be some senator, some other senator, Tony Simon, Mark Cheeseman, Jay Factor, some assemblywoman, some guy of Strike Force, the women of the DC Project. Kelly Pigeon is going to do a holster demonstration, and then there'll be some silent auctions. There's whores, hors d'oeuvres, and soft drinks. So you get all kinds of cool stuff. From what I remember last year, they had a pretty cool event. I'm probably mixing it up with the Connecticut one right now. So I'm trying to remember the difference between this one and the Connecticut one. If I'm remembering it right, it was sort of an outdoor event and a lot of fun. People seem to be talking about it for months after, just the good time they had and meeting up with people. One of the things here is I'm not just promoting all these different people because they owe me money or something. I'm promoting these people because they're doing good work. I'm trying to take a pause to focus on the awesome stuff that's happening. When people get together at SHOT Show, they get to say, hey, good to see you. I'm at an appointment. Me too. Bye. Right? When they get together at NRA show, they're like, hey, what's up? Oh, I've got 6 things to do. Okay, I'll see you. Bye. And then when they get together at one of these other events where there is no agenda or other things to do, they can just sit there and have a conversation. Sometimes having a conversation about lunch meat or, the price of tea in China or whatever is useful, not because of the topic, but to get to know the person better. And you don't get that opportunity online. People can present themselves one way and be a different way. You have a conversation with them and you know the way they are. You know how to work with them. So I think these things are awesome, and I don't want it to be discounted as just another opportunity for folks to get together, because it is another opportunity for 2A folks to get together. So even if you can't, or if you don't plan on attending, this is a fundraiser, so consider dropping $50 on the New Jersey chapter of the DC Project. I'm going to, oh man, we just got an awesome afternoon breeze here in Arizona. I'm going to take a second to enjoy that as it goes by. I'm going to drop that link and encourage people. Again, I'm spending all kinds of your money today. I will easily spend up to $100 or more of your money today if you just listen to this show. Drop $50 on the DC Project of New Jersey. They've got a big fight, and they could use all the encouragement and resources we can muster. Remember, every time we fund another Second Amendment activist, specifically a DC Project lady, we're showing the other side that they can't win against us. We don't need an NRA. We don't need an FPC. We certainly don't need an organization in Colorado that brings in over laughs about bringing in $16 million. And most of people listening to this don't know who I'm talking about. Like, we don't need these organizations to just suck off of us because they know how to suck off of us well. What we win is when individuals who stop bad legislation are funded through individuals. You can do that. Or you can let people know that they can do that. This is how we carry. Can I play this one? She plays a little anime music here. I don't think I can play it. I'll probably get copyrighted. Don't use TikTok. TikTok is Chinese, and they're definitely using it as an intelligence gathering tool. I wouldn't recommend it, but the concept of the projects like Instagrams and the YouTubes that are competing with TikTok and these little up and down quick videos are effective. So I always like to show off when the girls are playing their TikToks effectively. So that one's sort of saying, hey, you're going to get a gun and that's going to lead to more stuff, and more stuff leave some money for training. So it's got a funny, decent message there. NAGA has been posting little quizzes and questions like this. So this one's manipulate you or get you to do something or whatever. They're not planning any emotions. They're just engaging their audiences. Freaking epic. And they're doing it at a pace that's strategic. I don't know if it's strategic, but it's definitely epic. Like very stands out amongst the others of national level organizations. I cannot wait to see what they accomplish in the long term. So anyway, that's one thing, the way that they're just asking the question and letting people interact, right? They're creating back and forth. Then look into the question again. How much should you spend on your everyday carry? So first off, how accurate should your everyday carry be? How reliable should your everyday carry be, right? Hold on, let's go over here and acknowledge the hard work of the only female hosted firearms focused nationally syndicated radio show that goes on each week live. It's live right now. Let's see, so I'll be their second thumb up. Thank you for streaming the radio show recording each week on YouTube. There you go, the second thing. Then you do this. Lets the human on the other end of the line know there's somebody watching my show live. There's a human on the other end of the line that appreciates what I do. There's a human on the other end of the line that engages in the logarithm to let the mechanisms know that we're live right now. And then you've engaged the mechanisms, blah, blah, blah. So you can not do that, or you can do that. It's up to you. I'm going to drop you a link over here. And if you feel like it, it's called Eye on the Target Radio. They've been online for quite a while. Polite Society Podcast streams their live recordings. And again, it's Amanda Suffolk and her brother. And she's the first female hosted gun radio show that's been nationally syndicated, and you can listen to it each week on the YouTubes right now while I'm corking it. All right, so going back to how much should I? Do you hear this cricket? Holy crap! I'm gonna have to end this chat because I'm about to freak out because this cricket got in my house. There's another cricket in my house. How much should you spend on your EDC? So not how much accurate is your EDC, how reliable is your EDC, how rugged is your EDC, right? Like how many people agree that your EDC isn't a bullshit trinket, right? But then, okay, so there's that level, right? So it's how much did you spend on your EDC? It's a complete, marketing world right now. Then why is it EDC? Back in my day, EDC was your knife and your wallet and your keys. And then some people carried a gun as part of their EDC. So how much did you spend on your EDC? Are they asking us about the gun, or are they asking us about our knife and our pocket watch and like our wallet and our keys and stuff? So super interesting messages going out. And the thing evolves. You could take some time out and come back and not realize that words change, right? People think of things differently. Those don't happen differently because somebody got up one Thursday afternoon and decided to change the definition. They happen incrementally over time, slowly. Guess what? With intent, we change the world incrementally, slowly over time. All it takes is intent and determined and consistent effort in a direction. Speaking of consistent effort in a direction. Saturday evenings, Brooke Cheney does the Suicide Prevention Saturday. Green Beret Foundation has posted this week with it says in the description here, know the risk factors: mental health conditions, serious physical health conditions, including pain, traumatic brain injury, access to lethal means, prolonged stress, such as harassment, bullying, relationship problems, or unemployment, stressful life events like rejection, divorce, financial crisis, other life transitions or loss, exposure to another person's suicide or to graphic or sensationalized accounts of suicide, previous suicide attempts, a family history of suicide. I don't know about that one, but childhood abuse, neglect, trauma. Green Beret Foundation is here to help. Andy's Fund was established not only to honor the life of Master Sergeant Marsexano. I should try to figure out how to hear that guy's name so I can say it right. Who lost his life, suicide, but to earmark funds specifically for meeting the mental health care needs of Green Berets and their families, not covered by military health care. If you're concerned about someone in your life, request support by clicking on the link in the bio. And then it says over here, suicide is a leading cause of death. It is also one of the most preventable. And it says, according to the 2021 National Veteran Suicide Prevention Annual Report, over 6,000 veterans took their own lives in 2019. So look how old those numbers are. First off, shame on everybody. Secondly, these numbers are going to increase or decrease at the end of the global war on terror? Question mark. All right, next we get another one from FPC. Is it because I don't post GOA? Yeah, I don't post GOA when they post nothing. Do I not post Second Amendment? Second Amendment has to post something for me to post them. The other organization that makes $16 million a year and has people fired if they mention it, what do they post? They don't post shit for $16 million. So gun policies, one making $1 million, the other ones are all making $10 million or more. They're the one I'm posting because they're the ones that are doing the most. I don't agree with everything, but at least they're doing. You know, post a million things, somebody's going to agree with some of it. Anyway, gun policy is posted in New York State recently cited colonial laws to disarm dissidents while attempting to justify their post New York State Rifle and Pistol Association gun control legislation. They are saying the quiet part out loud. So this one's got some snooty Europe guy saying the dissidents must be disarmed. And then it says, you know, get out of here. With the Congress or whatever, the first Congress, Continental Congress, I guess. And then you got this New York mayor. I don't know who she is. Governor. I don't know who she is. But then she is sitting in some chair. But that was pretty good because they get her looking like she's in some kind of throne or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's heinous shit that they're doing in New York. We got to be aware of it and work against it. That's for sure. Then you get Gun Owners America, because they did do something, I guess. To facilitate the banning and registration of millions of pistols, the Biden administration is updating the form necessary to make and register an NFA firearm, otherwise known as the ATF Form 1. Here's everything you need to know about the unconstitutional rule and how it helps grow the ATF's registry that has your information. All right, so 7,000. What did we say before with the NRA? Everybody hates the NRA. They post and get 187,000. GOA bringing in, I don't know, 16,000, 15, $13 million a year. $1 million a year. They don't do a gun rights policy conference. They don't do a USCCA thing. No one knows how much USCCA brings in. They're different, but whatever. Gun Owners America ain't doing nothing. There's a Gun Owners America event that I'm not aware of. They have some employees that they don't pay a lot of money to. So I guess it's all lawsuits. I don't know where all their money goes, but, right. So a bunch of millions of dollars. Here we go. Swipe for more. I don't know. Are we supposed to be reading this? They've been doing this a lot. So they're not listening to my chats and getting embarrassed by this shit. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure this works for something. It works for whoever enjoys going to the post office and learning how to lick stamps or whatever. But in real life, is this effective? People complain about the NRA. Blah, 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 the NRA. Oh, so this is better? Come on. I mean, I don't have to love anybody. They're not paying my bills. They're on our side, and I'm not bitching about them. But yes, I am bitching about them. Come on, man. Are you serious? That's what we get. So, come on. Of all the visual things they could put on the fucking internet, tiny letters and a couple of shitty generic graphics, come on. They're not even gun related. They're not even original. Shit, hire me to make original graphics at least, for crying out loud. We don't get what we deserve. We can, this is 2021, we can create. We can determine what we want to support, and we can foster the stuff that matters. So I'm not here to complain, but at the same time, I'm not just going to give everybody a fluff because they exist. It's 2021. We can expect more. The Instagram is a decent platform for getting stuff across. It's a tool. Don't be afraid to use the tools. Learn how to use the ones. If you've got reasons and whatever issues where you don't like one of them, I get it. I don't use Facebook. I don't use TikTok. Use the ones you want. Don't use the ones you don't want. Use them in creative, ambitious ways instead of just sitting down and watching them and observing them. That's my suggestion. Thanks for tuning in. I don't really do this for other than to just throw some alternative examples out there and to kind of cross the streams, let people see what's happening on the other platform, and hopefully offer some insight beyond just the surface of what we're taking a look at. We looked at who's going to win in a fight. It looks like the people of YouTube think that YouTube is going to win in a fight when Instagram and YouTube meet on the street and get in a fight. It looks like Instagram only has 11% of the people that think that's going to happen. 11% of the people think Instagram's going to beat up YouTube, but 32% of people think that they're both going to lose, that they're both going to punch each other in the nose or in the jaw at the exact same time and both pass out as they hit the ground from each other's blows. So I don't know. To me, I'm not interested in YouTube and IG exchanging blows in the middle of the street, but I think that YouTube would definitely beat up Instagram. Instagram's a little punk, it's tiny, and it only has pictures. YouTube is massive, and it's a big jerk, so it wouldn't even mind grinding it into the ground. Hopefully nobody takes a video of it, because then it would be a popular video on YouTube, so that'll happen. We're done here. Thanks for showing up. If you don't want to use Instagram, I don't care. If you don't want to use YouTube, then why are you on here watching this? If you're watching this somewhere else, leave us a comment, because I'm not going to post this places unless I see comments. So with that, we'll throw a commercial out here. If you're interested in purchasing something from our store that allows us to keep doing what we're doing and potentially grow. If you'd like to be, oh crap, I forgot to put on my banner. Nobody mentioned it. If you'd like to be part of what we do, subscribe to our Patreon. If people throw us a cup of coffee or lunch or something once a month, all that adds up. It pays some bills. It keeps our servers online. It pays for some software. And eventually it'll get us back on the road to start experiencing our gun community and our culture and its ever expanding and growing and evolving nature. It's a lot of fun, and it's an honor to be able to do this. So thank you all for showing up and being part of it. If you're listening in the future, step up, leave a comment, let us know you're out there. Let us know what you think about the show. If you want to hear something different, feel free to offer a suggestion for that. Until next time. Oh, wait, let's see. What else is going on? You got Eye on the Target Radio is literally live right now. Gun Owners Radio will be live momentarily if it ain't already. You've got Locked and Loaded Latinos will come on this afternoon. You've got Come and Talk It, another radio show that'll happen here sooner than later. I think Come and Talk It is the one that should be live right now. It actually is live right now. So I'll send you a link to that. And then Gun Owner Radio out of California will be live in a bit. In addition, there's other shows. Gizzard is good at linking to all the other YouTube shows that are out there. And then tomorrow we'll be back with Mike from Gun Owners Radio. And dude, I can't even tell you. It's been a while since I've been so interested in talking to somebody about Second Amendment stuff. For reasons we're not going to be able to have the most in-depth conversation tomorrow, but it'll start what I hope to be a long and interesting set of conversations, because that dude has a lot of stuff on his plate. He's accomplishing them, and he's not just got ambitions, he's got accomplishments. So really looking forward to talking more about that, to sharing what he's been able to do with everybody. And then, like I say, I'm really looking forward to attempting to apply some of his strategies to some of the things I'm familiar with and working with. Hopefully that's not too cryptic, but enjoy the show tomorrow. We'll be back next week with this show. And I'm done talking, so I'll say quit saying things. I'll start clicking on things.
This episode, nobody beats the house.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com. So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on Gunstreamer.com or on GunTube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com.